And Governor Walker offered their condolences to Holloway's family.
As Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clarke's national profile soared, his time spent on the job here at home declined. We've got our best look yet at the sheriff's former schedule. Our political reporter Theo Keith went over 300 pages of records finally released after Clarke quit his job. It's a Fox 6 exclusive.
This story has been a long time in the making. In fact, it goes back to last May, the first time I reported on then Sheriff David Clarke's whereabouts. His calendar showed he wasn't often doing work in Milwaukee County, but he only handed over 1/7 of the records I was asking for and avoided questions about it. So I told him and you I'd keep at it. After the sheriff resigned from office last year and interim Sheriff Richard Schmidt took over, guess what landed on my desk? The records I'd been waiting more than a year to get.
They span 19 months from January 2015 through July 2016. Over that period, Clarke was a frequent flyer. He traveled to 26 states, the District of Columbia, and 2 foreign countries. New York and California were his favorite destinations. He went to each state 8 times. According to the calendars, the average 31-day month, including weekends, went like this. Clarke would be out of state for 11 days. He would have an event in another Wisconsin county on one day. 12 days were redacted, so we don't know what the sheriff did. That would leave 7 days on an average month when the calendars show Clarke did business in Milwaukee County.
David Clarke was AWOL.
Scott Ross is with the liberal group One Wisconsin Now.
It was an abuse of taxpayers, it was abuse of Milwaukee County, and it was abuse of the trust that voters had put in him to actually do his job.
It's worth noting that receipts show taxpayers paid for just 5 of the 56 out-of-state trips that Clarke took over the 19-month period. For those 5 trips, he attended policing conferences and meetings at a total cost of $15,300 for airfare, hotels, transportation, and meals. Outside groups picked up the tab for dozens of other trips that often included a speaking engagement. Clarke made $94,000 in speaking fees and gifts over this 19-month period, in addition to his $132,000 a year salary as sheriff.
Uncle Sam is going to be the dad.
When Clarke was in Milwaukee, he was often booked for interviews with out-of-state media outlets. And then there's April 30th, 2015. Clarke blocked off an hour that morning so 2 people from the Conservative Political Action Conference and NRA could deliver the $350 muzzle-loader rifle the sheriff got for a speech in Maryland that year. In late 2015, Clarke took a 16-day trip with the NRA to Israel and Russia. His calendars from that time are heavily redacted and don't explain who he met with. We asked for all of this back in October 2016, when Clarke was a national figure in the middle of a presidential campaign. By the time he left office 11 months later, Clarke had given us just 90 of the 640 days of calendars we'd requested. Acting Sheriff Richard Schmidt has provided nearly 500 days of Clarke's calendars since he took over in September, more than 5 times what Clarke gave us.
Clarke doesn't work here anymore, but we still don't have all of his travel records. The sheriff's office says it doesn't have August and September 2016, the final 2 months we asked for.
In an email, Deputy Michael Murphy said that when Clarke resigned, the ex-sheriff closed access to his Google Calendar. In response to our records request, the sheriff's office and the county's top lawyer asked Clarke to turn over the missing months by February 22nd. They say Clarke has not responded to them. None of it sits well with Scott Ross.
David Clarke's conduct was outrageous, and David Clarke should have to compensate the taxpayers of Milwaukee for not doing his job when they were paying him.
Clarke has parted ways with his political advisor, Craig Peterson, who tells me the former sheriff is now living near Washington, D.C. We invited Clarke to do an interview for this story, but he has not responded. If you want to see all of the former sheriff's calendars, we've posted them at fox6now.com. In the newsroom, Theo Keith, Fox 6 News.